Alright everyone, it is finally time for one of the most anticipated races of 2024. And really, it's one of the most anticipated clashes of the 2020s. It's the women's 100-meter Olympic finals in this year's Paris Games. This race carries with it a huge amount of expectations, as the previous couple of seasons have brought forth some of the fastest 100-meter times in history. But this race also carries with it a potential changing of the guard in the women's 100. No American woman has won this race since 1996, when Gail Devers from the US brought home the gold medal in the Atlanta Games. But ever since that day, now almost 30 years ago, there has been an empty spot on the top of the podium for a US athlete. This brings us to the exciting prospects of this 2024 season, because despite the Jamaicans absolutely dominating this event for the previous couple of decades, one athlete from the US has risen to the very top of the sprinting scene this season, and this athlete is Sha Carri Richardson. Moving into this year's Olympic finals, Richardson's 100-meter season has been as close to spotless as it could be. She won her season opener at the Pre-Classic with a dominant win in 10.83. She then dropped a world-leading time at this year's United States Olympic Trials with a performance of 10.71. And then in the opening round of these Olympic Games, she cruised her way through with a time of 10.94, a breezy and clutch performance that left the world wondering just how fast she could run. It is no exaggeration to say that Sha Carri is the overwhelming favorite right now in the women's 100 meters for the gold medal. And when I asked all of you about this yesterday in our most recent poll, here is what you had to say about this race. As you can see, Richardson has an absolutely massive lead in this poll here, holding almost 3/4 of the vote against some of the best sprinters in the world. But then, coming in with the second most votes is Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce with 20% of the votes. Now, as we mentioned in our previous video, if Shelly-Ann can somehow pull off this gold medal victory, she will become even more of a legend, because she will become the first and only woman to ever win 3 Olympic gold medals in the 100. And this potential 3 gold medal winning streak would stretch over the course of 16 years. Now, beyond the clash of Sha Carri and Shelly-Ann, we have Julian Alfred looking strong, Melissa Jefferson looking to crack into the medals, and do not sleep on Audrey Leduc from Canada, who broke the Canadian national record earlier this season, and she also broke it again in these opening heats, achieving a speedy time of 10.95. There is honestly no single race with more hype in this year's Olympic Games, so without further ado, let's see how this race unfolded. Even before the semi-finals began, one of the worst possible things imaginable was published online, and that's that Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce from Jamaica has officially dropped out of this women's 100. There's no real explanation as to exactly why this happened, but there was something strange that happened just before the semifinals, when both Sha Carri Richardson and Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce were not being allowed in the warm-up area. This video right here was circulating with Fraser-Pryce expressing frustration given the fact that they were not allowed in this area, and it was strange because the day before, they were in fact allowed to go through this gate. This is still a developing story, so there's still a lot to learn about this situation. But for now, it is official that Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is not running in this women's 100. Honestly, I'm feeling kind of gutted. This is a huge loss, and it's honestly hard to move forward through this. But either way, let's go to the semis and see what happened in this race. Now, for the opening race, we saw Melissa Jefferson pull off a magnificent win, winning the opening round in 10.99. It was supposed to be Richardson, Alfred, and Fraser-Pryce, but sadly, it was just Sha Carri Richardson and Julian Alfred competing, both placing first and second, with times of 10.84 and 10.89. Honestly, Alfred looked very strong here, and her start, per usual, was very powerful. However, one of the biggest surprises from this entire semifinals was Tia Clayton, who absolutely dominated the third heat in 10.89 seconds. And this kind of time for a 19-year-old in the Olympic Games is honestly amazing. Here is the full list in the women's 100 moving into the finals. We've got Julian Alfred, Sha Carri Richardson, Tia Clayton, Daryl Nita, Melissa Jefferson, Marie-Josée Toulouse-Smith, Mujinga Kambunji, and Twanisha Terry. Still feels surreal that Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is not in this race. But now, we officially have the finals set, and here is how this tremendously anticipated race unfolded. After a fair start, it was Julian Alfred from St. Lucia who got away from this field like a rocket. And given her 60-meter abilities, this was no surprise. And unfortunately, Sha Carri Richardson did suffer from a rather subpar start, and this meant that Julian Alfred was absolutely uncatchable. With a performance of 10.72 seconds, Julian Alfred is now the Olympic champion, and she is also St. Lucia's very first athlete to ever win a medal in any Olympic event. And the fact that she got gold is just crazy. This was a huge performance from this amazing St. Lucian athlete. Now, finishing in second was Sha Carri Richardson, and finishing in third, grabbing her first international medal, was Melissa Jefferson. So the US did get 2 medals here, and this is amazing because they both train under the same coach. But today completely belongs to Julian Alfred. And most of the time, Julian is not too emotional after races. She's rather calm, rather collected, but given the circumstances and this unbelievable moment, it made sense that she got emotional. It was one of the most clutch wins of the game so far. Julian Alfred is now the 2024 Olympic champion. Thanks for watching, everyone, and as always, until next time.